Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 16 of our Timberborn playthrough. If you guys are new to this series, definitely check out some of the older videos, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on this series as well as others. Leave a like and a comment, let me know how I'm doing, things you want me to try out. Plus it just helps with the engagement of the video. We'll go through a quick recap of episode 15, and then we'll get into the video. Okay, so we are just here in Fall City to talk about what we did in the last episode. Well, we did a few things, one of which is we set up a little hydroponic garden area where we are growing mushrooms. We also began to prep for our water district by digging down to maximum depth and then getting some stuff templated out that Hillview is currently working on, slowly but surely. We also increased our water storage slightly here in Hillview to help us out in the event of a drought. We are continuing to work on the production of books and explosives, and to facilitate that, we expanded our paper production. We now have maximum paper storage, interestingly enough, so it kind of makes me think that we're probably overproducing paper by a little bit, so we can pause a couple of those, just so that we can get, a few more beavers working in the hauling posts here. We are working on our science area. You can see that we are building that out up here. But the big thing, interestingly enough, that seems to be our limiting factor right now is our logs. We only have 500. And a big reason for that is if you look at where they're being used, primarily, they're being used out here in the, what do we want to call this? The water district. And in order for them to get there, they have to be cut down over here. They have to be transported all the way over to this district crossing and then brought all the way out. Now, I can't really do much about that, but in the past, we've always had a huge surplus of logs going on over here, and we just don't really seem to have that as much anymore. I think we're processing a huge quantity of logs, and that's okay. So we might be doing something about the logs, but the first thing that I want to do is the power situation. As you can see, we have virtually no power right now. 800 out of the current demand of 23. So these engines are working as fast as they can. They just are not producing enough power. So what that means, and we can actually go ahead and remove some of our scaffolding here, because we no longer need it. And let's set these to be picked up. What that means is that we can start to build a few more engines so that we, we have some stuff going on here. And we got some injured beavers. Man, a lot of injured beavers, actually. Luckily, they're in the little hospital over here, so they should get healed up pretty quickly. 10 injured beavers. We'll have to see how that goes over the course of this episode. See if they heal themselves up. Hopefully they do. So let's bring a road over here so that we can get rid of this one, and then we can go ahead and put some more engines in. Because you can see that overnight these batteries start to recharge because the engines continue to run. It's just during the day that we are just not getting nearly enough power. Okay, so before we put these in, we do need to add in some... So this is going to have to be a triple, and then 1, 2, 3. This will have to be a triple, 1, 2, 3. This will have to be a quad. So it'll look something like this. And let's prioritize all of these so that those get built, because we really need those built so that we can continue to build out our engines here. We'll also go ahead and get rid of those, and then we will continue So we'll have a triple there and a triple there. Something like that. And then let's get these built as well. And then we can go ahead and add in our generators, which we desperately need. So let's get those in there. Highest priority on all of those. And we will put highest priority on this one as well, just because I don't want it to get cut off from being able to be built. But we desperately need more power. This will allow us to produce 2,000 power, which is a huge step up from the 800 that we're producing now, in conjunction with these water wheels. You know, it's helping out a little bit, the water wheels, but the water wheels, I believe, only produce about 1,000 horsepower. And currently that's just nowhere near enough. But as everything powers down, you know, at least these batteries will start to recharge somewhat. But you can just kind of see that we're going to need quite a few beavers active up here generating power. These are going to require metal blocks, which are honestly not good. The metal blocks aren't doing great. We have a good amount of scrap, so maybe we'll get this other smelter up and running. Do have 15 vacancies, which is not great. Over here we have 21, so we need to continue to grow these populations. And we almost seem to be, you know, over, what's the right word for it? We almost seem to just be expanding too quickly for our own good. Our mushrooms are growing, which is very good. They're getting there, 67% of the way. And then if we come into the fermenting, you'll see that 4 mushrooms turns into 16. So it should give us a pretty solid amount of mushrooms, which is very nice. Now, as far as the mushrooms go, I kind of want to get another stack of those hydroponic gardens in here, just so that we have, you know, quite a bit to work with. So if we do something like this, that will get us up there. We'll have a path going over there. Have some stairs coming up. And that will get us another triple stack of the hydroponic gardens. I don't want to build them quite yet, just because, again, as I was just saying, I don't want to completely, you know, outpace our ability to actually man these jobs. But then I'm also actually going to let's build a little storage in here. So if we get a path in there, and then we get some platforms up there, that will then allow us to put in 3 layers of storage right here for our mushrooms. So these will be the raw mushrooms. Those can be stored there. And let's prioritize that and that stack right there. So they can build that and keep working at that. Okay, so we're getting some engines up and running, so we should be getting a pretty fair amount of power going in here. Let's see, we're still draining from the batteries, which is okay, but at least we have maximum power coming into here. Everything should be running at full efficiency because the batteries are filling that gap. So I'm actually going to pause this last engine. That one can just kind of sit idle for now. And then we can go ahead and get this power shaft in just so that this area is prepped for when the time comes. We can go ahead and get rid of those. Okay. So as far as the logs go, we kind of need to figure out a way to deal with these logs. And by deal with, I mean we need to produce more. And I think that the way that we're going to do that is we're going to work our way up here, and we're going to build a little logging district up here. We can irrigate some of this. That'll get us a little bit more to work with as far as growable area. And through the strategic use of dynamite, we should be able to get this to work. So let's come in here. Let's get rid of this. High prioritize that. Put some stairs in. Dynamite a little bit, work our way up. And that will be a good project for us. Let's see. Mushrooms are getting there. 85% of the way. I'm excited to get the mushrooms, even though we have absolutely no way of cooking them. That's okay, though. Okay, so how are we doing out here? Very slow progress as of now, which is okay. I think we're going to enable Fall City to help work. So I know that we actually ripped out this this contraption that we had going on here earlier, but I think it's actually going to be kind of beneficial to allow Fall City to work on this. So let's do that. And we'll put all of this on moderately high priority, and at the very least they'll be able to come down here and kind of you know, work on some of this from the bottom up, while these guys kind of work top down. So, you know, it's it'll be something at the very least, something for them to do. Okay, so now we can get some stairs in here. Should be able to get some dynamite on there, if I remember correctly. And we'll make that maximum priority. Let's see how much dynamite they got in here. Yeah, pretty good amount. 106. It's a pretty fair amount. Let's see. These are still being decreased, but very slightly during the day. So overnight, they should slowly recharge themselves, which will be a good that'll be a good thing. You know, as time moves on, should be pretty good. And we are slowly just chipping away at our vacancies that we got going on. It is going to take quite a while until we're really in the positive. But you know, we keep kind of overextending ourselves as we go. It's just kind of the way it is, I guess. But okay, let's, as I say that we're trying to not overextend, let's build 3 more of these hydroponic gardens. We'll get those just on the low level, and these will be for mushrooms as well. Okay, so hopefully this gets done. And then let's blow that up. Okay. Let's get some stairs up there. And we can get some stairs up here. And let's think about where we want our district crossing to be. I kind of want it to be down here because I want to maximize as much growable space as we can. So if we want it here, we'll need something like that. We'll need a path there, and then a path there, and then some stairs up. So this is where our district crossing will be, and then we can make our way up here. I am going to dynamite this out, so let's just come over here. Dynamite this whole thing off, make it nice and flat. And then if we just kind of look, kind of want to flatten as much of this out as I can. Just so that we get as much growable area as possible. Anyway, seems to be working pretty well. Let's come in here. Let's put all of these on highest priority so that they can actually come down here and work, as opposed to having to work up top. But this is good. We're getting some stuff built down there. And then let's put all of this on highest priority so that they, you know, hopefully they'll build some of this and then they'll come up here and build this. That way we can get the, we can get this forestry up and running. And similar to the water district, or similar to the science district, the water district is going to produce no food, I would say. I mean, food factory, yeah. They're really not going to produce anything. Maybe we'll put the hydroponic gardens out there at some point. But, you know, they're not going to have any farmland. Similar, this forestry district is really not going to produce any food. They're going to use all of their growable land to produce lumber, which I think will be interesting. Same thing with Science District. They're not going to produce food or water. They are solely going to be doing science and probably robotics production later on. But I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a, you know, an interesting way of doing things. Why are you stranded? Oh, because you're... Oh, man. It's so classic. That is classic Timberborn beavers getting stuck. Okay. So, we will continue to work in here. Let's see, we've got Fall City working on the water district, which is good. We also have them working on the new forestry district. We've established some new power. And Hillview just has a tremendous amount of stuff that they are working on right now. Between the water district and the science district, they are just, you know, they're cruising. So let's prioritize one of these houses. And then let's prioritize, if we come down in here, sink down these levels. Oh man, that's not helpful at all. Let's do this. Let's grab here. Nope, that doesn't do anything. There we go. Let's prioritize this stack and this house. That way, at least if we have a couple houses and we have some storage, you know, we have the spot for the district center, we can at least get that built. And let's see, free beds, yeah. There are beavers living over here. That's not going to last, because we're going to put in the district crossing here. And that should pretty much be the end of that. Okay, so our soybeans are starting to be whittled down. I think we are correct in assuming that this is not enough. One thing that I was thinking that we should probably do is really ramp up our district crossing populations over here. We just don't really have the workers for it, so maybe I'll put 2 more from either side just to keep enough food coming in here, because Hillview does not make a lot of food. They're pretty self-sufficient on water, but the only food that they produce is this little area of kohlrabi. And you can see that their kohlrabi is pretty low. Their food generally is pretty low. They have fermented cassava, they got some fermented soybeans, and I guess we'll make this fermented mushrooms. I mean, they're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna be consuming those for quite a while, but we can at least get them ready to consume them, and we can just set that on normal. You know, Fall City has all of the food. a tremendous amount of kohlrabi and fermented soybeans. Oh wow, fermented soybeans is huge. Fermented cassava is doing pretty good. Again, at some point, we'll want to transition these fermenters over to this area where they can, operate year-round. And eventually, I would like to think that, if we get a major forestry district, not that this will be that, but if down the line we get a major forestry district, we might consider replacing this with food. That way Fall City just kind of solely focuses on food, which I think would be really interesting. Okay, and these platforms are getting built slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Alright, so how are we doing over here? Let's go ahead. Can they build this from here? Yeah, they can. I don't know if we're going to get a builder over there, but maybe. It looks like all of our builders are prioritizing this area, which, that's okay. It is what it is. It's one way of doing it, certainly. But I am getting a little bit concerned about the food supply over here. 13 vacancies. What about over here in Fall City? 22 vacancies. Yeah, we're just kind of struggling on the production over here. I guess we could pause a couple of these oil processors just because we have so much. Let's pause all 3 of them. We got a huge supply of oil. I'll just keep an eye on it as we go. And if we get to the point where it's just it's not looking good, then we can come back to it and get them running once again. Okay, so what are some of the other things that we want to do? Hang on, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. So, we are doing pretty well over here. If we go into our priorities, so the reason that I want to get this done is because I would love to just go ahead and transition this over to being pretty self-sufficient. And you know what? I just kind of realized that we're not going to get there because we're going to need to give them some storage. So, in order to do that, let's do this. We're going to need to give them planks and logs. Right? Yeah. So let's do that. Let's give them large industrial piles. We'll give them 2 of those. This one will be for logs, and this one for planks. Like that. And we will add those to the priority building. And then they're gonna need water storage. Oh man, there's just so much that they need to do. So much that they need before they can be self-sufficient. Let's come into storage. Let's unlock the large water tank, because it is huge and it requires metal blocks. Okay, so be it. If that's what they need. Let's do this. And let's give them storage, large tank. Let's orient it this way. Give them a path along here. And this will be for water. And that also will be lumped into the priority. Okay, so once they have all of that stuff, all of that priority stuff, and in fact that won't even be enough because we need the staircase. Oh man. Because they'll have no way to get up here to get to the planks. Okay, let's get the staircase involved. There we go. That's the priority. It's so much building. Oh, it's gonna take forever, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. Okay, At least we can come over here and get this staircase in here. We can put that on high priority so that they can come up here and build. And then let's go ahead and cover this in dynamite so we can dynamite that off. And then we're going to want to divert a little bit of water over here. And I think what we're probably going to want to do is run a path over here and dam this off. We don't want any water coming over here. So we can connect that up like that. In fact, you know what? There's probably no need to have a path over there because this is probably all going to be planted with trees. And I don't really like the way that this is oriented. So let's do it instead like this. That'll be the dam. And there's no reason to have the water come down here because if you remember, I dammed off this little channel right here. And then we'll end up building a little dam right here that will allow the water to overfill the top of that or overflow the top of that. And that should function very well. Okay, so we are desperately low on logs, obviously. We are doing pretty good on planks and gears. Metal blocks are looking good. So we should have no problem getting a lot of this stuff built. It's just a question of getting it over here. This district is quite far. And you know, it's just kind of the way that it is, but I think we'll also end up making a connection over here. So in a similar way that there's a connection here, we'll have one running over here, and we can accept resources from both. So we'll accept, you know, more industrial goods, planks, gears, stuff like that, metal blocks from Hillview, and we'll accept food and likely water from both until we get the water production up and running. But for the infancy of this district, there's going to be a tremendous amount of just building everything. This district is going to require a lot of stuff to be built. And it's going to take quite a while. But that being said, I think it should function pretty well once we get to it. Okay. So I'm actually going to do something a little bit different that we haven't quite done. I'm going to let this run for just a little bit while we get this stuff built, and then I will see you guys in a few minutes. So I'll be back. Thanks. Bye. All right, we're back. So, if you guys saw a time lapse there, let me know what you think about it. If you didn't see a time lapse, it's because I've never edited one and I couldn't figure out how to do it and make it look good. So if there was a time lapse, let me know what you think. If there wasn't one, completely disregard. Anyway, we had to jump back in because we have a drought incoming. Now, we got a pretty decent amount done in here. We're building some storage, which we are going to set to our standards. Kohlrabi for the first one. And then for this second one, this one's going to be fermented cassava. Actually, you know what? Let's make it fermented soybean. Just because we have a tremendous amount of fermented soybean. It's our second largest stockpile. Although cassava's right there. So, either way. If we go into our priorities, they're going to continue to build the staircase and all of this storage. But with a drought incoming, do need to pause a bunch of this And then let's see over here. Let's pause 2 of those. 2 of those, and then just 1 of these. So we can leave a little bit of water pumping going on over here. Again, logs. Huge issue right now. I would love for them to be able to get this built, but unfortunately, Falls City is recognizing this area too well. So what we're going to do is let's destroy that. They can come over here and pick that up, but hopefully that means that they'll stop recognizing this, and they will instead come up here and build this. So let's get this whole area prioritized for building, and then we'll prioritize the dynamite after that, like so, because we do need to get this built. Our logging in Fall City is no longer keeping up. You can see that we only have 20-ish logs currently, which is just nowhere near enough. And every available log is being transferred over to the water district just because this is a ridiculous amount of platform work, and it's consuming virtually everything that they have to get it done. So for instance, this luckily does not require logs, planks only, but these require logs. Everything else requires logs. The only thing in here that doesn't is that facility, that large water tank facility. So anyway, let's get the mushrooms on the moderately high workplace priority, as is standard for our alternative food production. And let's see. Yeah, see, logs are just becoming... Oh, they are becoming the bane of our existence. Let's see, where do we store planks in here? This is all logs. Is this planks? Yes. Okay, so we have enough planks. We're gonna need to come over here, though, to build a water storage. How do we want to do that? Is there an easy way that we can get over there? Not really. Yeah, what is going to be the best way to get over there? Because again, I want to maintain as much of this as possible for the growable land. So I think we're going to end up building in this waterway. I think all of our housing is going to be in this waterway. I think we'll have to wait and dam this up later on when we actually have enough logs to do a big building project like that. I think for now we're just going to have to deal with it. Building lacks power. Yep, those like power. Unconnected building. Yes, understand. I understand. We do have some people living over here, which, you know, so be it. Although, when I cut those off, we're gonna have no free beds, because there are a lot of free beds right there. So we might need to build a few more houses up here. Let's see, these are 2. So if we kind of come down in here, we can put a platform in there. We can get a couple of those. And then we're going to need to get up here. So that we can get that roof built, and then similarly over here. This is not at all a lowest priority when we are lacking in resources this badly. But one thing that will be a priority is these sets of houses. And then lowest priority will be this stuff. 2x1. A couple roofs up there. Because we do need some more housing for when we inevitably decommission, or not decommission, but, you know, break this off, make this a whole separate district. That will be necessary. Okay. So, how are we doing? We're getting some dynamite laid up here. We're getting this dam built. And then I think once we dynamite this off, we'll just make a little crude, you know, little crude area in which they can live. And then we can start to get some of this stuff cut. So let's mark all of this for cutting. This whole area. And let's get a couple woodcutters up here. Let's put maximum priority on those so that they can at least start to cut some of that. Cut some of that down. And then let's get some stairs down here. Again, this is going to be crude right off the bat. Because we just need, you know, we need as much of this cut down as possible. We can get that in there. Get some stairs over here. And why don't we get a couple lumberjacks over here as well. Prioritize all of that. And let's see, how are we doing? Yeah, we're just struggling, you know. We don't have enough resources to be able to get this done. Although we are storing some fermented soybeans over here, so that's nice. Makes me wonder, is this stored up? Yeah. And I actually think that just adding those couple additional workers here to transfer resources has really helped. Has really helped get some more food over here, because food was a struggle. Over here, Fall City has just all of the food in the entire world right now, which is good. You know, having too much food, it's not really a bad thing. Although you can see that our soybeans are not keeping up at all. We even have this whole thing over here. It's never going to be used. So we do need to expand our soybean production at some point in the near future. But let's continue doing what we're doing. So we're starting to get some logs. They're going to cut these down very quickly, I would imagine. And they're just going to slowly work their way down along here. Now that they got that, let's get a set of stairs up there so that they can get those cut down as well. We're starting to get the water in there so we can start to build our little dam here. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward dam. It's just going to be a row of levees and then a row of dam pieces. The levee right there. There will be a path coming across there. And we can put this on moderately high priority. Let's put this dynamite on highest priority as well, so that they can work on that. And severing this, I think, was key in getting our forestry up and running, just because, you know, Fall City, they were kind of just working off what I gave them, which was, I was telling them that this was the priority. And while it is important, it's not exactly the priority. Let's go ahead and pause most of these. How are we doing on gears? Doing okay on gears. I'm not really sure where all of our gears are going. Doing okay on planks. I just kind of need to rely on, you know, them having enough to go off of before we start grabbing the, you know, the planks, or the logs, rather, to work on this. You know, this stuff needs to get built, obviously. And then once it is built, then we can, you know, then we can go from there. So as far as what we want over here, so I think we're going to say that Fall City is done working on this project. So we can go ahead and get rid of all that. We can delete these just because they're so far out of the way that, yeah, they're probably not going to get grabbed anytime soon. Let's go ahead, let's put a platform there so that they can, you know, go out if they need to. And then we're going to put the district crossing in here. So that'll be the district crossing. And then we're going to run this down here. And then this is going to need to tie in here somehow. And I think that the way we're going to do it for now is we're just going to keep it in line. This. So let's get that to there. And then we can tie this in here. So that'll be the path. And Fall City can build that path out here. That way they can, again, they can draw resources, industrial resources from Hillview via this district crossing, and then they can draw food primarily and water early on until we actually get the water established from Fall City. So that will be good. All right. So forgive me, headphone users. Hopefully I can fix it in post-production. But we are starting to, you know, we're getting some logs going up here. Nothing major. I really want to get this kind of established before we completely decommission it. Let's go ahead and let's just get rid of a couple of these little trees that are going on in here. Don't need to get rid of that one. We can build this dam, though. That'll be good. We do have our dam situated over here, so the water shouldn't, the water should not overflow. It should just kind of fill this area and then work its way out. You know, in theory, anyway. And then eventually we're going to end up building some kind of big dam over here, but for now, that is quite a ways down the line. And our beavers are working. They're working as best as they can. Let's take a look here. Okay, so we almost have our water storage, or not almost. They are starting to build the water storage. It's still quite a ways away, but that will be good once it is built. I don't really know how I'm going to lay this out. Like, do we want water storage along here and then water pumping? I don't know. We'll have to see. I want this to kind of be a sustainable district as we build it out. You know, I kind of want it to all make sense. Okay. I love those bells. I love that is, you know, a thing. Let's get this path to stretch further down here so that we can put a couple more lumberjacks up here that will hopefully be able to reach. So let's get those built, priority. And let's continue to cut down these trees. Get maybe 3 of them in there. Highest priority. Now let's come in here. And I guess, yeah. Let's rip these ones out. And then we can do the same over here. Rip these ones out. Pick those up. And then let's put this dam on highest priority so that they can get that built. And we're getting there on this large water tank. 75. So we still have the gears and the metal blocks to go, but they're working on it. They're working on it as best as they can. They're also working on this set of platforms as well. That's good. Okay. So, now this area up here, how do we want to do this? So we have some logs coming in, and it's not a zero quantity of logs. But I think what we're gonna do, so if we were to follow this out, yeah, so let's square this off, and you know, this is completely unnecessary, but we're gonna do it anyway. Now, it looks like we need to get rid of this right here, so let's get rid of that. Fill that up. This will become triples, singles on top, and then we just need to get this to go. That's so wasteful. It's so wasteful. I love it. I love it. So wasteful, but I love it. Maximizing our plantable, our growable area up here, for sure. Yeah, completely wasteful. I'm a big fan. Big fan. That's going to take some time to get built. Let's... Do I want to prioritize this? No, I guess for now they can get their resources via Hillview. So let's prioritize this stuff. Moderately high priority. They're still going to build the dam first, which is good. But guys, I think this is going to bring us to the end of this episode. So, we are making progress. We are cutting down some trees up here to artificially sustain ourselves in the interim. We are getting pretty close on the water district. We're getting a lot of stuff built out here, which is great. And by and large, this is working pretty well. We are running into a bit of a roadblock when it comes to the log production, but hopefully we can fix that in a future episode. So, if you guys made it this far, leave a like and a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on this series as well as others. And if you guys are feeling extra generous, check out the Patreon. You can get access to all my save files. You can find the link in the description below. Totally not necessary. You guys watching the videos and enjoying the content is more than enough. Until the next episode, I hope you guys have a great time. See you in the next one.